because he's going to be, well, most likely he'll be the salesman.
Cody called me to see, and he's kind of, just kind of walking like this, coming in the doors, hair is all frizzy, and kind of energy, man.
What's ended up happening is we had a big family and we went through a big divorce. Trailer was hauling water for, I have an ex who was here living out of an RV. That's not good for a marriage, so don't ever try that.
Good to know. Thank you.
And especially if you've got dogs in the RV. But
Hey friends, it's Kody from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Imagine you're a guy named Justin Bemis and you're a realtor in Flagstaff and the surrounding areas. And you end up getting a client who calls you because you're selling a house that he's interested in, and it's Kody Brown. And then you have to end up on a show with Kody Brown where he takes you out to Coyote Pass prairie dog poop land and wants you to help him sell the property underneath his wives or exes. And then the entire time you're out there with him, he's like trauma dumping on you and telling you all these unnecessary stories about these women, flat out lying to you about the property, lying to you how he bought the property, lying to you about a whole lot of stuff, and then adds a completely inappropriate conversation with this dialogue that includes a conversation about what he did with his children on the property. And it's told in a way that is so inappropriate that when I was working on my videos yesterday and watching this and doing a playback and rewatching, my husband last night was like, holy crap, what did that guy just say? He is so gross. Okay, so this video is for Mr. Crystal Ball because Mr. Crystal Ball was so disturbed by this comment that I was like, well, if Mr. Crystal Ball, Todd, has something to say, I'm gonna share it because, dude, my man rarely ever says anything other than he hates Kody Brown and thinks he's a turd. But Kody Brown met with Justin, who is the guy that sold his house and also had a listing on the market that he was interested in buying. I'm not sure when this conversation took place because Kody and Justin's relationship mostly occurred during the fall of 2024 timeframe. But Kody and Robyn were looking for properties before that. So it could have been that they had been looking for a while and he had been helping them. But either way, Cody's trauma dump, inappropriate thing. It's just so weird. So let's kind of dive into what this is all about.
The other equipment is just like businesses that I just had to mothball that were unsuccessful. So I've got 4 partners in it. 2 of them are exes. Okay. I hate saying this, but it's not the most civil of relationships. Having gone public, we talk to the public.
Okay.
And then it comes back to me. It's like, I'm not talking to her ever again.
Right.
It's back and forth. Okay. I'm just as guilty as them.
What I noticed about Kody in this part of the episode is that I've never seen him so nervous and like all over the place when he's having a conversation. It's like he can't even stay on task, can't even stay on the topic. His eyes are like he's bouncing all around with his ideas. He can't even finish one thought and then he's on to another thought. And by the way, I think he's doing this because he's trying to like give him information, but like he's adding stuff to maybe like not tell the full picture or to like layer in all this other stuff so that Justin doesn't hear parts of it that might give a red flag to him, like I don't actually have permission to sell this. I haven't told them about it. So what he says is like, well, I've got these exes and I don't even want to talk to them. And they say all these things about me. So it's like his way of trying to tell him, like, I don't have permission, Justin, for you to have this, but I'm going to blame them for talking badly about me. And because of that, that's why I have you out here. And by the way, when we get an offer, I'll present it to them and let them know and they can sign off on it. Completely illegal, by the way. He can't do that. They have to all agree on a seller. They have to all agree on an agent. They have to all agree on the price that they are going to list the property at. They all have to agree to sell it as a whole if that's what they're going to do. They have to agree to all aspects of this. And he's doing this in a way to try to make it seem like these women don't care and have no say. And it's because they've left him here. So the trauma dump is a means to the end so Cody can try to get Justin to sell this for him without Justin realizing that, oh, by the way, I don't have their permission. Just wanted to put that out there.
This is the last thing that kind of connects us. I think that's another reason why it's hard for me to let it go. It irritates me to no end that just the last couple of years changed the last, 30 years. And then we moved to Flagstaff. It just kind of disintegrated. It was frustrating to me. I watched it happen and I was like, stop.
I wanted to add that part about Robyn in there because she's really weird. She talks about how the last couple years disintegrated the last 30 years, acting like she was there in the beginning, or she's trying to distance herself from the fact that the reason why the family fell apart is really because Cody had a preference. For whatever reason, Robyn does not want anyone to think that Cody had a preference, even though Cody has flat out admitted that he had a preference. He said that it got easier just to be with Robyn. That's where he was happiest. That's where he was the most comfortable. And Robyn still is trying to live in denial that she was the favorite wife, even though it's kind of obvious now because the only one that he's left with is Robyn. I don't know why she keeps doing this. And then saying, this is the part where I just wanted to show you that the reason why they're doing this is obvious. They're holding on to it because it's the last thing that they have that they own that has the names on of the other women. It's the only thing they can hold over them that could possibly link them back to them, that could possibly make them come back so they could have access to that income that they want. And so if they can drag this out long enough, they can either do one of two things: get the other women to give in and come back and be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, we should all be together. Why are we doing this? Or, as Christine had stated, if he just keeps ad nauseum telling you what's going to happen or doesn't get his way and he stops communication, eventually you'll cave in and he'll get what he wants. It's strategic, honestly. But so this is the whole scenario. He's setting this whole thing up. He doesn't have the money, he claims at this point, to pay off Janelle, which is wild. If you think about the fact that I don't know how much this property is even worth at this point. I don't know what it's worth. And I don't know how they would buy someone out. Do you do an appraisal and do it off the appraised price, or do you do a buyout based on what you bought it for? I don't know. But he says that he doesn't have the money to buy her out, and he doesn't have the money to buy out Mary, which is part of the reason why he's also stalling. And then he's trauma dumping on Justin because apparently Cody has no friends that he can film with anymore. I don't know where Brian is or his friend Nathan. Okay, so let's get to the part where Cody brings up this ridiculous story that's highly inappropriate, and the way that he describes it is so disgusting. And it's all about the prairie poop in the disgusting pond.
I gotta tell you a story. This is only the second or third. It's about the third time in my life I ever went skinny dipping, and it was with my family. Okay, just don't drink any of it. There's cow manure in it. Son, Gabriel, strips down to his skivvies and jumps in the water, swims over there, and starts claiming the island as his. So yeah, I finally got in my skivvies, and all my children, my daughters, my sisters,
so cool.
We were all just in the water.
So my husband hears this part and he's like, what the hell is that guy saying? And why is he telling that to a realtor? He sounds so disgusting. He's like, I don't understand. Did he just think, is he trying to be a big guy? And he thinks that this story shows that he's some sort of macho man. And he has this I've got this story to tell you to impress him. But he doesn't realize how inappropriate it is to describe it the way that he's describing it. Does he not realize how bad this sounds? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's right. He's with a realtor who, by the way, I don't know if this guy's ever seen the show. And he's trying to tell him that he went skinny dipping with his kids in a pond. And it's this moment where he can brag about it. Okay. They didn't even skinny dip, right? It's an addition to the story to make the story appear more outrageous than it is. and make it appear as though it's something, a more impressive, more off the wall, more look at me. Because he didn't skinny dip. And by the way, that whole scene to this day haunts me. I'll show you more of it. But why are you telling this and telling it in a way where you're claiming that you're naked in a pond with your kids? Because the girls didn't strip down. They just were in their shorts and their t-shirts. And you all jumped into a pond filled with cow manure and prairie dog poop. But Kody wants to reframe the story as though he was this I don't know, athlete that just won the Olympic medal for skinny dipping with his children. Does he not realize how effed up that sounds? Like, that's what Mr. Crystal Ball was like. Does he know how effed up this sounds? He already knows that, like, people think polygamous men are perverts, and now he's describing swimming with his kids in his underwear as skinny dipping. Does he not realize he sounds like a pervert?
But everybody got excited. They just
went
stripped down and we went for it.
that's
But
too
none of the moms did. I'm over at the edge of the pond just screaming because
It's so tough.
the move was very frustrating. We moved from Las Vegas. It was hot. It was insane. My natural nature is like, I can't decide, so I'll just wait long.
The absolute only two people that stripped down in this scenario were Kody and Gabriel. Gabriel had boxer briefs on, so it actually just looks like he's wearing swim trunks. But Kody, on the other hand, shows the world what he wears underneath when he goes to bed. And the only reason I can think he did this is to show off and flex and do his little like screaming like I'm the king of the world. That's why he was doing it. He didn't need to strip down into his underwear. And it was the moment I realized that Kody wears tighty whities that are black. And nothing could make me feel less attracted to him. I mean, I'm not attracted to this man to begin with, but I'm not into guys that wear briefs. I don't know why. It's just my preference. I don't know a lot of ladies that are into that. I'm more into like the boxer brief, those are cute. But Kody makes it seem like when he's telling the story that the kids are naked. You see Gwendolyn's in a t-shirt and shorts. Isabel is wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Aurora goes in her clothes. So everyone is dressed. Savannah goes in her clothes. All the girls are dressed. They are definitely not skinny dipping. They're not naked. Kody is by far the most naked, and it definitely is the most inappropriately of all of them. And I remember when I saw this the very first time thinking, wow, Kody, for someone who is so modest and, shameful of his wives showing off too much skin, you have no problem getting into this pool of dirty poop filled pond, disgusting prairie dog poop, water, and runoff. It's a drain. It's a drainage pond. That's the only reason this thing exists. And if you've never been in a drainage pond, you shouldn't want to. I had to go into a drainage pond once to chase my dog after she got away and was like running through the neighborhood. It is the most disgusting water you will ever be in. It's gross. But this one is particularly more disgusting because it literally is filled with prairie dog poop and cow manure. And they knew that. And then Kody, to be a big guy, went into his tighty whities and was like, I'm going to show everyone that I wear briefs. I can't, that this episode will never leave my mind. The fact that he wears those underwear will never leave my mind. The fact that he cannot call underwear and has to call them skivvies is weird. But the fact that he blatantly lied to him and said they went skinny dipping, but then not even correlating the fact that, first of all, none of the girls were actually naked. He wasn't naked. His kids weren't naked. But he's telling a realtor, yeah, I went into a pond with my kids naked. It was wonderful. It was great. And it was all because the move was so stressful. Well, that's actually not why you guys did that. You did that because everyone was finally excited to see the property and you sold them that this was going to be the next Las Vegas. So the kids were happy. And that's why Gabriel was doing that. He was happy. He had been so depressed about moving. But Kody couldn't let his son show him up, right? That's why I think he stripped down, is because Gabriel stripped down. And I think Kody needed to show to everyone that, hey, I look better than my son because he's competing with his kids. Anyway, long story short, Cody is a pervert. And my husband was like, that dude's a pervert. He literally told that on he told that story on national television, not realizing what a pervert he sounds like and how disgusting he sounds to be bragging about this with some guy that's going to sell the property to him, that he wants to sell the property for him, a guy that's a virtual stranger. And the only reason he's telling him this is because he thinks it makes him seem cool, when all it does is actually make him look like a pervert. And I'm like, exactly. You're right. You're right, honey. You're right, Mr. Crystal Ball. I don't know if my husband used the word pervert. I can't remember what he used. He probably used a word that was like with F's and S's, lots of expletives. So I'm using the P word as a way to sort of fill in those gaps. But you get what I'm saying. Like, Cody's weird and gross and creepy. He's a creep. It's gross. He's not really doing polygamous men any favors by telling the story this way. Just gonna put that out there. So, did any of you have the same reaction? Do any of you have your husbands watch the show with you sometimes and they get a sound bite of Cody and they're like, "What is wrong with this man? What the hell is wrong with this man?" Do any of your husbands have things to say? Do your husbands ever pick up something funny and you're like, "Oh, I missed that." See, because I'm so used to Cody acting so stupid and like a douchebag, that I'm just used to his douchebag comments. It takes a lot from my husband to say something, and this was that moment. So, are you ever surprised to find out that your spouse is as annoyed at Kody Brown as you? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.